All right, I'm making my favorite pancakes. I have taken an apple and I've already sliced 3 slices there. And yes, I leave the skin on. These are not low fat, but they're very good. So they're going to cook on that side. This is cinnamon. While that's cooking, I'm going to take, and here are it's your ingredient list. I need 1/4 cup of flour. I happen to make some oat flour for myself. These are going to be a little different. And 1 tiny teaspoon of sugar. Sugar is necessary for browning. If you're a cook, you need to know why. And when I say 1 teaspoon, I don't mean it rounded. Okay, this is a nice level teaspoon of sugar. Just enough. Then 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I use iodized salt. I know a lot of people go, oh, I want red salt. I want Himalayan salt. Well, iodine is a trace element that our bodies need. So this is a 1/4 size. And you know, 1/2 of that is 1/8. So it's just going to be a little tiny bit of salt for flavoring. Why salt? You need salt for flavoring. There it is, just 1/8 of a teaspoon. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. There's my baking powder. And I'm doing this while I wait for my griddle to heat up and cook my apples. 1.5 teaspoon, that's 1/2 a teaspoon of baking powder. There's the 1/2. Let's go with the 1. Whoops, hold on. And I don't mind a little more baking powder because it's going to fluff them up. Okay, so these pancakes are going to be sort of like buttermilk pancakes. 1/4 teaspoon of soda. Here is the baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon. They're sort of go less on that. I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's make sure it's level. There we go. 1 and 1/4. No, 1/4, only a 1/4 of baking soda. I'm looking at the things here. All right, those are my dry ingredients. I'm going to stir that up, and you can use a small mixing bowl. I'm just using, you know, I eat a lot of yogurt. So I have these containers. I like them because they store easily in the fridge, don't take up a whole lot of space. Now you need your wet ingredients. Now some people will take their wet ingredients and mix them in another bowl. I don't. I just dump them all together. There's my egg. Crack it hard. Hit it hard. There's the egg. 1 egg, it says. And then it says 1/4 cup milk. I already poured my milk. You can use your favorite milk, whatever that is. And 1 little teaspoon of oil. You don't want it sticking to the griddle. They smell like they're cooking. Turn them over. There we go. Turn that over. Those are the apples. The apples are cooking. Now that I have flipped them over, now it's time to put a little bit of cinnamon on there. Just a little, not a lot. Cinnamon can get hot, like spicy hot. If you don't like cinnamon, don't do this. I like cinnamon. So when we finish with these pancakes, it's going to be more like a delicious apple strudel instead of just plain pancake. Let's see, I got my milk, I got my egg, I'm at the oil. 1 teaspoon of oil. And the oil, again, 1 teaspoon, not 1/2 cup. That's the difference in measuring, y'all. Measure, measure, measure if you're trying to lose weight. Now comes my tablespoon of vinegar. What do I do with my vinegar? Yes, vinegar. Vinegar is not bad for you. It's good for you. Let's balance out those pH things. So 1 tablespoon. See, I was about to make a mistake. That's a teaspoon. Here we go. 1 tablespoon of this. Only 1 tablespoon of white distilled vinegar. So I'm going to stir that up real good. Like so. And because I have baking soda and vinegar, you know it's going to fluff up, right? It's going to fluff up. So there it is. That is my batter. Stir it around. Make sure you scrape the bottom of the bowl. Get all of it. And I'm going to turn the fire down just a little. So those are ready for the batter to be poured on top. Now here's the thing about the batter. Is that 1/4 cup of batter. That's all you need. I said they're going to be small. 1/4 cup of batter will yield a nice sized pancake. I'm going to move this over so that they don't all squish together. All right, that's ready. And the 1/4 cup of batter is one pancake, about 49 calories. How about that? Round it up to 50. Let's see if that's ready. Put my fork over here. 1/4 cup of batter, measured, because I do track. I measure and track, measure and track. And it's ready. I'm going to just gently pour my batter over that. You see how it's going to spread out? And if it was any larger, it would be hard to flip. And I want it to all. So there's my 1/4 cup. And I'm just covering the apple with it. This one's already cooking on the front side. So if I were to eat, okay, I'm going to move this apple over some more. It was too close to that one. If I was to eat all of these, that's what I say, 50, that's 150 calories. But you have to count if you're going to add, syrup, if you're going to add butter, margarine. I have learned to love the taste of my pancakes without butter. And this is what I get to do while I wait for those to cook. I'm going to eat some of my apple. All finished. I'm only going to make 3. This batter will keep in the refrigerator all week. And look how much it makes about 5 of them. See, I still have some in there. I still have some for a couple. Today is my big, well, kind of sort of big breakfast. All right. Here are your ingredients. Apple slices done. For those of you that have never made pancakes before, what am I looking for? How do I know they're cooked on the bottom? Well, it's got all these little bubbles. You can see the bubbles. Can you see the bubbles? You can see the bubbles. And, oh, let's see. I think I need a little bit hotter. I'll let it get too cool. So when the bubbles start bursting, then it's cooked. There, see that bubble burst. Yeah, it was. I let it get too cold. 350. I'm on electric griddle, about 350. Okay, and this is what I do to keep from getting too hungry. Go ahead and eat some fruit. It is time to put all these away. I'm finished with them. I'm gonna put that in the fridge. There you go. All your ingredients, go put them away. That'll be washed. I'm waiting. I have my own package where I keep all my things. I have a basket that fits in my pantry. These are all pantry items. They go right back in that basket. That was flour. Okay. Put that in the, rinse it, put it in the recycle. Okay. Now let's see what it looks like on the backside. And as I say, you have to be really careful. They're delicate. These are delicate pancakes. See, I ripped it. Aw. Not quite cooked enough. I'm going to let it cook a little longer. Well, can you see the apple in the middle? Isn't that pretty? Let's see this one. Let's see how it looks. I think, oh, cool. There it is. I flipped it over. Isn't that pretty? I just love my apple pancakes. Excuse the cough. Okay. Why I do it this way? Because I'm eating more fruit than batter. Oh, I almost choked on that. I guess I can't talk and eat at the same time, y'all. There it is. 3 pancakes, 150 calories. 150 calories. And when I plate them, excuse me, when I plate them, I will just use I'll keep my little apple slices here. Let's finish up that apple. I'm going to plate it with 1 tablespoon. That's it. 1 tablespoon of syrup. Learn to appreciate the flavor of the pancake. And that's what I forgot. So it's cooking, it's cooking, it's cooking. We're waiting. And I need to reach for my, whatchamadooly. I'll think of it in a minute. My syrup, which I use sugar-free syrup. That's just my choice. And how do I know how much syrup to have? Well, that's why I measure. I said I measure, don't I? Well, here we go. I'm about to measure. My syrup, if I eat 2 tablespoons, that's too much. I know it is. I already know my size, my portion size. That if I'm going to eat 3 little ones, 1 tablespoon is enough for me. I don't want it icky too much syrup. So it's cooking. We're finished. Y'all, I'm plating. Have a wonderful day. Let's see here. How does that look? Beautiful. There is 1. There's 2. And there is 3. I have 3 pancakes. I have a small plate. I could have gotten a bigger plate. Do I have a big plate that's clean? No, I don't. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, I have a big plate that's clean. I can use it. Y'all have a great breakfast. Remember to clean the kitchen. I unplug my, what's that called? Griddle. I'm going to replate. I'm going to replate so you can see how pretty that looks. Plate your food and make it look pretty. Okay, now there's my food. My 1 tablespoon of syrup. Here we go. And let's see if 1 tablespoon is enough. Maybe it is and maybe it's not. Let's see. I say 2 is too many. I think that's going to be enough for me. I don't like drippy syrup too much. I don't like that much. And you notice, no, I did not put any margarine or butter. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. Okay, get your breakfast ready. Have your cup of coffee. Have a great day.